All right, g'day guys. Welcome back to another episode of Flashlight Crazy. Today I'm going to review two 14500 lights. On my left here is the Acebeam Pokelit Grey, and on my right is the Thrunite Archer Pro. Let's check it out. Okay, so accessories. Well, I'll start with the Thrunite. Thrunite comes with a USB-C to USB-A charging cable, and that cable is going to charge directly into the light. So unscrew the head, expose the USB-C charging port, and screw it back up, and there you are, back to normal. So the biggest difference between the Thrunite and the Pokelit or the Acebeam is that the Thrunite is actually a onboard charging. It has a built-in battery, whereas the Pokelit, you can take the battery out. So for some people that might be a little bit annoying or scary if you know the battery's going to run out. For me, it's not a big deal. It's not an overly expensive light, so I'm not too worried if the battery was to die. And if you buy this from an authorized dealer like Light Shop, then they're going to honor the warranty. So if the battery inside, if the onboard battery dies, well, you're just going to get a new one sent out to you. So I'm not too worried about it. And the only other accessory you're going to get in the Thrunite is your user manual. Now, the accessories in the Pokelit are a bit more extensive. You've got an Acebeam lanyard there with a nice little stopper here. Well, I say nice, it's not that great. It does move pretty freely, but at least you do get a lanyard. You don't get one with the Thrunite. Now, you're going to get a USB-C to USB-A charging cable with the Pokelit, but that is going to charge the battery. So unscrew the head, take the battery out, and you will get given a 920 milliamp, 3.7 volt, 14500 battery that is able to be charged right there. You're also going to get 2 spare O-rings with the Pokelit, whereas you don't get any with the Thrunite. And of course, you're going to get your Acebeam Pokelit Grey user manual. Okay, so let's take a look at these two up close. Well, here they are next to each other. So the Acebeam is definitely, it's smaller and thinner. You can see their size difference. Let's just look at the face here. So smaller and thinner. That might be a plus in some people's eyes, but also it's going to, I assume it's going to get hotter than the Thrunite. So the reason I wanted to compare both of these lights is because both of them have specs at 1,000 or more lumens. So the max lumens for the Thrunite is 1,022 lumens, and the max lumens for the Pokelit is 1,000 lumens. So these are, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the most powerful 14500 sized lights, because I don't really know if I can call a Thrunite a 14500 because it doesn't actually have a battery you can pull out, but I definitely think it qualifies as a 14500 size just because, take a look at it, it's, fairly small. So we'll have a look at the Thrunite first. So Thrunite's got a nice sized head. I really like it. It does have an orange peel reflector down there, or a textured reflector. This is the cool white version, so you can get the neutral white version as well. And if we look down here, we've got a really nice knurled body there. It feels nice. It's a bit grippy, but it's not too rough at all. It feels actually quite smooth, but it's nice. It's nice to hold in the hand. And the Thrunite just fits perfectly in the hand for me anyway. I've got rather big hands, and I've got decent sized hands. So I like the fact that it protrudes just a little bit, and it just feels nice in the hand for me. Obviously, you can see here a 2-way pocket clip, very, very sturdy as well. So have no trouble putting this on my hat or in my pocket, and very deep carry. So you're just barely going to know it's in there. Now, Thrunite's got a plastic clicky, and it is a reverse clicky, so there'll be no momentary with the Thrunite. You just have to press it all the way in, and when you let go, that's when the light initiates. And I will go over the specs and the different outputs as well, because I think that Thrunite really does well with its output diversity. But if we just have a look at the Acebeam, so the Acebeam's it's more compact, it's thinner, it looks really nice. I mean, this in the grey just looks bloody spectacular. So down here we've got a smooth reflector, not a textured or orange peel. This is also in the cool white as well. So both of these versions have neutral white options, but this is in the cool white. And We do have some nice heat sinks on the neck there. Only problem I have with these heat sinks is that they are exactly, if you see there, they are right where the pocket clip makes contact with the body. And that is a problem because when you're putting this light in and taking it out of your pocket, it often gets caught because it is a very tense pocket clip. So your pocket often gets caught in between these heat sinks, which is just a bit annoying. It's not a deal breaker, but it can be annoying. As you can see, also, we have a two-way pocket clip as well. So easy to put on your cap, which I love. I love two-way pocket clips in lights this size. And the body's a lot thinner. It's got some nice knurling here. I actually like the knurling on the Acebeam better than the Thrunite. It just feels a bit more grippy. But again, you know, this is a nice light to hold, but it just is just that little bit smaller. Whereas the Thrunite kind of fits better in my hands, I'll say. So let's get it to turbo, and that's on turbo as well. So yeah, it just feels a bit nicer in my hand, the Thrunite, than the Pokelit does. But I like the Pokelit switch better. Absolutely. The Thrunite switch is okay, but it's not great. Whereas the Pokelit switch is very responsive, very nice, and you can momentary as well to swap outputs, which I really like. Okay, so let's just get the measurements of the Thrunite first. So from end of tail clicky to the end of the bezel, the Thrunite comes in at 96.5 millimeters, whereas the Pokelit comes in at 91.9, so 92 millimeters. Now the head of the Thrunite comes in at 21 millimeters, let's say, and the width of the head of the Pokelit comes in at 18.15 millimeters. Body of the Thrunite comes in a little bit at 18, let's say 18.5 millimeters. And the Pokelit at about 17 millimeters. So nothing crazy in terms of size differences, but definitely something to note and definitely something to think about if you are going to choose one of these 1000 plus lumen 14500 lights. All right, so battery and pocket clip included in both of these weights. The Thrunite comes in at 64.89 grams. The Pokelit comes in at 56.97, so 57, let's say. So again, small difference in weight. Obviously, it's to be expected. The Thrunite is a little bit heavier. Don't think that's going to come into play when you carry this in your pocket, but it may and probably will come into play if you want to attach it onto your hat. So that's something to think about as well. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, but it could be. All right, so let's go over the UI. So let's, okay, so that's on low, thank you. And all right, so this has got a few different things. So the Acebeam has 3 outputs. Low, that's 5 lumens, and that'll last for 58 hours. Then off and on is medium, which is 330 lumens, and it'll last for 1 hour and 50 minutes. And then off and on again is turbo or high. That is 1000 lumens, which will last for 35 seconds. Then it drops down to 600 lumens, which will last for another 49 minutes before shutting off. So off and on is the way you change cycles, or as I said before, you can momentary until you find the one you want, then click it on. Cool thing about this is it has memory mode in all 3 outputs. So you can leave it on your turbo if you're, walking through a sketchy neighborhood or something, and 1000 lumens is a great amount of light to, give you the edge in a scary situation. Now, the Thrunite has some more outputs. So the Thrunite's got access to lockout, whereas the Acebeam does not. So if I want to lock this light out from off, I just press and hold. It'll get me to your moonlight mode there, which I'll cover in a second, or firefly. Then from firefly mode, press and hold. And if I keep pressing, you'll see it flashes. Now, every time I click the tail switch, it's going to flash at me, telling me that it's locked out. If I want to unlock it, press and hold, wait, and it's going to flash again. That's telling me I'm unlocked. So just to remind you, just to clarify, to get into firefly mode, from off, press and hold, and then it'll come on. Now, firefly mode is 0.41 of a lumen, or 0.41 lumens, and that will last for 15 days. So already the Thrunite has something or 2 things that the Acebeam doesn't, which is a firefly mode and a lockout mode. Now, if I want to get into the infinity stepping, I have to turn it off and then back on, and now we're in the stepping. So this has what's called infinity low and infinity high. So let's get it to infinity low. Okay, so that's stepping up, stepping down. Okay, flash. So that is infinity low. That is 13 lumens, and that's going to last for 37 hours. Now, if I press and hold, it's just going to step up, and I can stop stepping at any moment and use that amount of light. But if I keep stepping until it flashes on high, this is called Infinity High. And Infinity High is 478 lumens, which you'll get for 1 minute. Then it's going to drop down to 208 lumens for an additional 150 minutes. So great run times there. Now, if I want to access turbo on the Thrunite, from on or off, I double click the tail switch. 1, 2, turbo. Now, turbo is 1022 lumens, which you will get for a constant 1.5 minutes. After 1.5 minutes, it's going to drop down to 190 lumens, which you'll get for an additional 145 minutes. So turbo would just be used for, wanting to see that extra distance, wanting to maybe blind an attacker for a second or something like that. Now, if you want to get back from turbo, you do need to turn it off, back on, and then it'll come on in your last known output before turbo. So now, if I press, it's going to start dimming, and I just let go anytime I want to use that amount of light. And every time you let go and then repress, it's going to change direction. So dimming up, let go, press, dimming down. Let go, press, dimming up, and so on and so forth. Now, another thing the Thrunite has is strobe. So if I triple click, 1, 2, 3, that's strobe. That is 92 lumens, which you'll get for 260 minutes. Now, the max beam distance of the Acebeam on turbo or high, is 105 meters, pushed out by 2,756 candela. The max beam distance on the Thrunite is 134 meters, pushed out by 4,500 candela. So that's a major difference between the two. The Acebeam is 2 meters water submersibility and 1.5 meters drop resistance. The Thrunite is 1.5 meters drop resistance and 2 meters water submersibility as well. So exact same specs there. So already we've got some major differences in these two lights. We have 3 outputs in the Acebeam, low, medium, and high. And in the Thrunite, we have strobe, firefly, infinity low, then all the way up, stepping to infinity high and turbo. So there's definitely more diversity with the Thrunite, and especially having a lockout system is really nice as well with the Thrunite. The Acebeam has a removable battery, whereas the Thrunite does not. The Acebeam is smaller and lighter than the Thrunite, but the Thrunite gets to 1,022 lumens for 1.5 minutes, whereas the Acebeam gets to 1,000 lumens for 35 seconds. So just some differences there to be aware of if you are planning on buying one of these lights. Now, what I want to do is a bit of a heat test. So let's do the Acebeam first. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get it to turbo. I'm going to point this at it and see how hot it gets. So that was turbo. So medium, high. Okay. So now this is on Celsius and I'm pointing it at the head. Let's go. So 24, not too hot. It's even going down. Interesting. 23. Oh, here we go. No. 24. That's great. That's not getting very hot at all. I've heard people complain about the heat of the Pokelit Grey, but I don't know. Oh, here we go. 26. 27. Okay. Oh dear. 28. 29. 30. Okay, so far the max is 30. Now it's hovering, seems to be hovering around the 28.5 mark. All right, so look, 30 degrees Celsius is the hottest it got. I'm not complaining about that at all. I think that, oh, here we go, 31. Okay, so 31. 32 degrees Celsius. Actually, let's do that again because that did start to get very hot. 33, 34, holy mackerel. 35. For this little thing, 35 degrees is going to be very heavy on the head there. The body's very, very cool, but oh wow, 37. Let's see what it is on the actual. All right, so let's say 37.8 degrees Celsius was the max that it reached. Now the Thrunite. Let's get the Thrunite on turbo. There we go. And away we go. All right, so 27.9 degrees Celsius was the hottest that the Thrunite got, and 37, I think, 0.1 was the hottest that the Pokelit got. So that's a major difference. That's 10 degrees difference in heat. So that's definitely something to take into account with these two. All right, so we'll just do a bit of a beam shot for the Thrunite there. So we do have a bit of a milky hot spot. It looks kind of intense there, but the further you move it away, it becomes fairly milky. Got a nice amount of spill as well. Very large spill. Now, the Pokelit on turbo as well, very distinct hotspot. It's crisp as, I don't know how they did that, but that hotspot is just a perfect circle with, you know, no rough edges at all. You couldn't draw that sharper than the way they've done this. So that just looks absolutely fantastic. And I'm really excited to see how these guys do outside compared to each other. So let's go outside. Let's see how they do. And then we will come back for some final thoughts. See you in a sec. All right, got the Pokelit first up. There it is there, just on low. Can't really see back at the back fence there, but right in front of me, about a meter away, and, you know, obviously to the sides, about a meter away, it's all good. Now, off on. All right, so there is medium, and it's just spectacular, isn't it? I mean, medium would be the one I would run this on more often than not. Absolutely. Benefit about medium is obviously what you're seeing. Look at that. So that's the benefit of medium, but also it is one click away from turbo if you need that blinding light. So that's what's great about medium. And now let's just do a bit of a off on, and there it is there. The blinding light, 1000 lumens, absolutely crazy. I won't put this on for too long, so I don't want to waste the battery, because I do want to do a direct comparison with the Thrunite's 1000 lumens. But there it is there, absolutely incredible. All right, let me get the Thrunite. There's the Thrunite on your eco mode or Firefly. Very useful Firefly. Clever that they've done that. Now off, on, and where are we? Let's get to the bottom stepping. There it is. Okay, so that's infinity low. So absolutely beautiful. Nice. Similar to the Pokelit, although not as distinct hotspot, that's all. Now, let's just cycle up. So, as in step up. So this is just the smooth stepping. There. Okay, so that's infinity high. That's as high as the stepping's gonna go. But then from there, I will go 1, 2, and that's your turbo. So I love the beam on this. Obviously much more distinct hotspot in the Pokelit, but the beam on this, it's a gorgeous mixed beam, and it just, I mean, look at that. It's illuminating the entire yard from this little thing. Just absolutely sensational. So what I'm gonna do now is get them both on turbo, and we will do a direct comparison. And that's on turbo, isn't it? Yep. Okay, so there is the Pokelit, Thrunite. Pokelit, Thrunite. Pokelit, Thrunite. So yeah, I mean the Thrunite, I prefer the beam profile from the Thrunite, but the Pokelit's hotspot, it actually looks brighter than the Thrunite, to be honest. It looks brighter, and it's obviously much bigger. And the Thrunite looks like it's stepped down already, and the Pokelit does not, which is interesting, because the Thrunite, although I did just have the Thrunite on turbo, whereas the Pokelit's had a lot of time to rest. Might not be a fair comparison. Let's turn it off for a second, and then back on. Pokelit, Thrunite. Pokelit, Thrunite. Pokelit, Thrunite. All right, that's it for me. See ya. Wow, both very, very good competitors, these guys. I mean, I don't know if I can fully notice the difference in the 22 lumens that the Thrunite's got over the Acebeam. Certainly the hotspot on the Acebeam wins at 10 out of 10 for me. It's just absolutely fantastic. But the spill in the Thrunite is gorgeous, and that little orange peel reflector really helps in terms of the beam profile. So I love that about the Thrunite. Now, the Thrunite is available at lightshop.com.au. It will come in at $65, but the Pokelit is not available at Lightshop yet, but it will be. So as soon as it comes available, I will link it. But right now you can just grab it from Acebeam Direct or any other Acebeam retailer. You can get this one anywhere between $50 and $90 Australian. It is being sold at different prices everywhere. So just, search for it, find the best offer and grab it if you want it. Now, which one would I pick? So I don't like to sit on the fence with my comparisons. And to be honest, guys, I would pick the Thrunite. So it does worry me, the onboard charging, but not enough to not pick it. Reason being is that I bought this from an authorized dealer, being Lightshop, so that if anything goes wrong with it, I know that the warranty is going to be honored, and I'm just going to get another one sent to me, and I'll send this one back if anything goes wrong. But I love the lockout. I love the stepping. I love the Firefly mode, and I love that it lasts on turbo for 1.5 minutes, whereas the Acebeam only lasts for 30 seconds. And after the heat test, mate, 10 degrees hotter than the Thrunite. So, very, very nice to see that the Thrunite maintains a cool head even under, a pretty extreme temperature for something this size. All right, that's it for me today. Thanks very much for watching this comparison. I hope it was helpful in making your choice of one of these lights. And until next time, stay cool and stay safe. See ya.